I would like for also for the people to know that they got an opportunity to be heard on this platform and to do this newsletter. And this also give the people a true understanding of this is true translation, true communication between the top and bottom, so you don't feel like you're not being heard. Yeah. I'm happy to have y'all out here today. We got my homeboy, also my co-worker. I want to introduce him as a father. We got 30 years experience at the truck plant. On top of it, 20 years experience in the union. You know what I'm saying? I'm so proud to be a part of this. He's running for chairman, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we got to give him his respect. You know what I'm saying? I like to thank him for coming out, being able to get to know the people. And on top of it, we get to know him. You know what I'm saying? So welcome to the platform, Chuck. You know.
How you doing, man? What's up? You
How you feeling today?
Feeling great.
Yeah, you liking this weather?
For sure.
Yeah, we want to get straight to it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
We want to know you, Chuck. You know what I'm saying? So we want to know what's the difference between you and the other candidates that's running right now. What we can expect from you, Chuck?
I got new, fresh ideas. I've been on the line right now the last couple of years and talking to people on the floor, and I have a much better understanding of what needs to be done on the floor than I did in that 20 years in the union office. I thought we were doing a really good job in there, but to get on the floor and actually feel the difference is definitely, it was, I guess you could say it was
Sobering.
No, I mean, it was like, I thought we were doing better. I thought that we were doing a really good job. We were not doing a really good job. I think we're more reactionary. I think we get a lot of things that come to the union office and we take care of the majority of them. And we think we're doing okay, but there's a lot of fires still on the floor that never get up there, a lot of issues that we never even know about or even gets to us. So I think admitting that the floor was kind of terrible will be admitting accountability on all of our parts, right? Because we're the gatekeepers. And you think you're doing a good job, everybody's really working. It's not like the majority of people aren't really giving their all, but then the results aren't there. There's no result. It's the same results. So.
And Chuck, that's my sentiment exactly. And to be honest with you, you know, what can you do different being able to make it where we got an open line of communication so it's a clear line of translation for that so we can actually speak, hey, this is what we seeing, this is what's going down here. Because once we able to do that, it affects the quality of the product too, because we can make better trucks, because we can actually, you know what I'm saying, have a safe environment. And on top of it, we got room to breathe. Because another thing we've been getting hit with, Chuck, is these supervisors harassing us. You know, what can you do different than what's been going on to be able to get them off us? You know what I'm saying? Especially when we following the OSI sheets and doing everything for the safety protocols, and we still dealing with harassment for untrained supervisors or process coaches, you know, to be technical.
And I agree. And so to me, the culture at Ford has always kind of been that way. We come out with a lot of things saying that, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do that. And it almost ends up repeating itself because it's always the top preaching down to the membership. So if you do the pyramid, it's the membership down here, and you got the leadership always preaching down. So when you're preaching down and you're not listening to the membership, instead of flipping it over and having it where the membership is here preaching down on the leadership, then you're getting real fresh ideas. You're getting what you actually want. The culture has to change. Someone has to be at the top making room for supervisors to be able to supervise. You get really nice supervisors and they turn eventually because of the culture is run at all costs. we got to humanize the job, and we got to give them room to humanize situations. And I think that comes from the top. If you don't give them room from the top and let that filter down as a message that you have room, you can make situations human and do all of these things. I think that's a lot. We can work a lot better. I mean, the difference is to me, when you have always, when you got the bullying and all of that stuff, and it just no really room for that, because I mean, we get paid A+, D-, we get paid the same. And I just think that when you try to come at people like that, you get D- effort, you get a whole bunch of pushback, and it goes out on the trucks. I mean, these are our trucks. This is how we make a living. And it's not good for business at all. So my idea on that is, I'm not going for that. Well, I'm a pretty aggressive person, and I have to kind of tone down sometimes on how I feel about different things. And I don't think that's the answer. I don't think being harsh and aggressive is the answer. And I think treating people kindly, hearing their issues out, is the way to go. And that's how we're going to run this business if I'm elected chair. Promise you that.
Okay. I like that. You hear what the man talking about. It making sense. And it's just that, by me working in the plant too, and you being on the floor now, you understand the sentiment of everybody, how they really feel. This is what the people need to hear. And on top of it, the leadership need to hear what we need to do to get real change. It's not a shot at nobody, but this is what we need to go on and keep the momentum going, because when the morale low, the quality low.
Yeah.
That's just how it is in the military. You know what I'm saying? The morale, the unit low, we got to bring the morale up, be able to come and be able to defeat the enemy, because we going out there depressed. We got to be focused. You know what I'm saying? All our competitors coming in as full force. We got to come united, like we work, like what the logo says, united all the workers actually do this thing, And how you talking too, I love too about how you saying we're not going to talk down. We actually want to hear what the people saying, so that way, so we ain't preaching down to the people. The people letting us how to know what it need to be going on, so we be able to move forward together in the unity. And this is a family movement,
For sure. And like, even just from a standpoint now, don't get me wrong, but when I was in the union leadership, I thought a lot of things kind of like similar as far as, the younger people not coming to work or some of the things, because even though you're out there fighting and helping, this is the vision you're seeing, because you don't realize that you're this old guy now. You got 30 years. It's not your turn. We have 30 years seniority. The world is different. We got to pull through workforce and care, and they have their own different issues and needs and different barriers it takes for them to be able to get back and forth to work. And I don't think we've done a really good job of sharing the resources or pointing out the resources for the younger people. I think everything rolls into FMLA because we're not, we have leave of absences. We have all kind of different resources that's available outside of FMLA. And not saying anything wrong with FMLA, but what I'm saying is that it's a whole lot of, not a whole lot, it's other resources outside of FMLA. If we want to move forward from a standpoint of something new, you always have to listen to the people on the floor. You need involvement from the floor. You have to be really active from the floor and let the union reps actually do contractual work, because currently they're tied up with a lot of other issues outside of contractual work. If you get a lot of involvement from the floor, you can pick up a lot of these issues that are really floor related type issues. Or, I can give you some examples of even go stuff, simple things like, you tie up the union reps time over go. And so the way they do the go. And so I just think that those things can be done within a team, with a functioning team, with everybody doing things, in a certain way and kind of having people run their own stuff without having the unions come involved in it. I mean, Leslie, they do that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
But I want to stay on the queue. I'm sorry, we didn't switch.
No, you good. We got to think about it. We need to hear this. Type of point of your perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Because, when I did real estate, I took contract law.
Okay.
And the way I got to learn the class of contract law, you know what I'm saying, with how to form a contract, the three major things you need for a contract, you know what I'm saying, what makes it valid or what makes it invalid, and you need competent partners being able to do it, So think about it, you bring the people together, you know what I'm saying, actually saying, this is what we're going to do. We could put together a team to be able to actually say, let's do contract talks with the membership to be able to educate the membership too. Sure. That way we all community men. You know what I'm saying? When I worked with you in the union, you've been in the union 20 years, but I did it for about 5 years being a backup community man, but he did it. He was giving me game on what it really was. He said, go to the book, go buy the book. He kept the book on him, you know what I'm saying? Very educated, and especially I was able to come at the at management respecting for that. And I think that's an issue we have is that, a lot of people got positions that's ignorant of the contract. You got to be able to make our membership coherent to the contract, and we can break it in layman's terms with doing classes. And the classes I took, it was fun. Like today, we gonna talk about AWOLs, what the contract say about AWOLs. And then we can do a little, questionnaire about that, you know what I'm saying, and see what the contract say and make it fun, And the thing about it, educate the people. And then when people got problems with AWOLs, people like, remember we did the class, I remember we did this show, we talked about this, you know what I'm saying? And this is how you educate the people, because educated people is dangerous.
Right.
For sure. And that's our weapon, you know what I'm saying, is educating our people and using this platform we build it, you know what I'm saying, to be able to let the people know that this is your strength,
right,
your voice. We want to hear that, you know what I'm saying, and put people like you in positions that been from the top to the bottom, to the bottom, to the top. You understand the transitions now. You see the rhythm,
For sure. So to give an example, like the newsletter, I created a newsletter along with some other folks, newsletter. I think it's important that we have our own newsletter on the floor. The information comes from the floor. Currently, everything comes from the leadership. Now, there's no voice on the floor outside of Facebook. There's some of the other platforms about social media. We have our own website that a team developed tied to a newsletter. This is for positive information for the membership. For information, so we don't have to turn to Facebook all the time, where we can communicate with each other. It's a ride sharing tab on there. It's one of the things that I'm really big on, wanting to get a ride share program together where we take care of each other.
So, can I ask you a question? What does that look like with the ride share? Can you explain that so that people can see, like, this is a real future we can really look forward to?
So currently, I mean, you can say, we say ride share now, but people who's near my age just carpool. What you would really say it's like a carpool. But if we have a website with an app on there where you can just say, if you live in east side of Detroit or wherever city that somebody maybe come, whatever area, and you leave, hey, I need a ride in the morning or a ride home, and you got people that's volunteering to do these things that can look on there and say, hey, I gotta take somebody home or whatever. To be like our brothers keep, we're supposed to be a family here. There's a lot of people that left in home or don't have ways to work. That's just crazy. I've even heard of stories of homeless people getting a job and they really don't have any means to get back and forth to work. When I was in union leadership, I hadn't heard of things like that. I know people we have to live back and forth to work, taking many people home over the years, or, pick some people up from work, but I didn't know it was really that bad. So when we talk about attendance, you have to talk about a lot of these barriers that that's the reason for, or some of the reasons for bad attendance. I'm not making excuses for bad attendance, but
Life being life, sir.
there's a bad attendance policy. A lot of people don't like to admit that from our seniority, but I mean, the attendance policy to me, if I was a young person coming in, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's really don't have a lot of wiggle room to miss a day. When I first started, you could have 5 occurrences for one AWOL. Then it went down to 3 occurrences for one AWOL. Then it went to none, but you could bring a doctor's note in. Now all of that's done. So it took a while because I was critical on the kids. So the younger seniority people, when they, choose not to come to work or whatever, before I got back on the floor to really listen to the people, hear or see some of the things that really go on. So totally different perspective. So I want to see younger people get involved. They're the majority of this membership right now. We should have a child care committee, even though those things are done on a national level. We should be giving them a package so ridiculous that they have no choice but to do some of these things. We should be having a committee on attendance from the younger group. I mean, this is a pilot. You have to make it known some of the barriers that you're going through to get back and forth to work.
And that's the honest answer, and that's what we need, And speaking from that, they also was talking about the chaos that was going on with the debacle with some of the pay issues that was happening. I know it was something that was systematic, but dealing with the newsletter and everything we got implemented with the platform, how could we combat those issues?
From what I hear, I guess there was a new program that the short upper leadership, at least the chair and the news, come into the building. When you're changing a system, I think you should get a pilot run prior to bringing it actually to the people, because if you have hiccup, then you have this chaos that's going on. You just got to be ahead of that. You have to be ahead of these things when you play on change, or when you're reactionary. This is what happens. If you're waiting on things, and when they hit, you're going to be chasing. So you're going to feel the effects a lot more than if you were ahead of. I believe in getting ahead of everything. I like that. I believe in getting ahead of everything. I don't want to chase. I want to get ahead of this is our house. We build these trucks. These are great jobs. And, I want to create a place or be a part of creating a culture here that we want to come to work. If we don't mind coming to work.
So for your 30 years of experience being at Ford Motor Company, what was your best era? You was like, this is where you was go, and I want to get back to this standard or better.
Oh, when I started, we had fun. We had fun. We had to know each other. It was a slow start, at least for when I started. So we sat around and talked and, and got a chance to know each other. And the difference is we hung out even outside of work. We took care of each other. Of course, we had some arguments, fights, and all those things, but we were more family, and you look forward to coming to work. At least I really look forward to coming to work, even though the jobs were terrible.
Yeah, I feel you. I did. We all there messed up heads, callous, and I heard doing these jobs we did it because we working with family. You know, that's what we come. You know, we see our family, our work family more than our real family.
Exactly.
It become a blended family now. You know,
You think about it, we should be better at that. There are some teams in here that functioning absolutely wonderful. They got a really good system. They all take care of each other. And my plan is I want to go around and interview other teams. I want to bottle that up and spread. There's formulas out. There's formulas out there for us to function properly as a team, look out for each other. And that we can do that. I really believe that we can do that. There has to be an emphasis on it by the upper leadership, and it has to be supported. Has to be supported. That can change a whole lot. You have to make sure, absolutely make sure that the people are heard out there and that they feel involved. Will make a world of difference in here, and I'm definitely going to make that happen. So, this newsletter is a way for the whole. I mean, it's for the membership to take over. I don't want any part. Say I'm elected, I don't want any part. I just want to support. Yeah, I want it to be something from the floor, because that would mean I'm not on the floor, and that would mean that I want to support what you guys are talking about, and whatever it takes to keep this going, and stories or whatever we decide that wants to go in talking about the membership that goes in this newsletter, something for us, for our own positivity. We could even have a blog page, which is on there for people to advertise their businesses. Of course, we would have to go through some and you can look at it and make sure that the legalities of how we do the things. But these are some of the ideas that I think we can put together and start to become a family and do things with one another, even like this right now. This wonderful Grace you worked before, young lady works before, and we're taking our time out on the night to do this. This is some of the things that I'm talking about. It's an amazing young folk down there that really got a lot of talent, and that they want to be involved. And I think that this newsletter is a way for people to get involved. And I'm not saying it's the only way. We have standing committees that are functioning right now, but I don't think the involvement is where it should be. I don't know if the current leadership makes everyone feel welcome.
Sir, it is, yes. You know, it will like unrestricted speech to actually saying things that's critical. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we get shunned for being, constructive criticism. You know, and it's not to break, anybody down or say, hey, you suck at your job. But, my house on fire, and then I call the fire department, they bring no water. I can complain a little bit. I lost the house. We got to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? So, that's been my issue. So it is like, I would like for also for the people to know that they got an opportunity to be heard on this platform and to do this newsletter. And it is also give the people, a true understanding of this is true translation, true communication between the top and bottom. So you don't feel like you're not being heard, because I'm guaranteed you that we all look at this newsletter every day, and when it gets published, of course, you know what I'm saying, with the hubs and everything you're going to have put together, you better make a better understanding, a better workforce, and a better work culture, you know what I'm saying, for the Ford Motor Company people, and our EM brothers,
For sure. I mean, it's so currently a lot of people use Facebook. I see a lot of back and forth. I don't really get involved in it like that. As I'm an old guy, I don't know I'm not sure how to navigate through it.
Also, just to be honest, okay. I heard it.
I still got a little emotion on the old. But I just Facebook or a lot of the social media platforms, some people just don't get involved in them as much. little hard to navigate. You have to really buy into it to do that. We need something a little more simple and easier. Just saying, for example, if you put a document on Facebook, you have to go and look for it. I guess if you want to see it the next day or two, you have to fish through and try to find it. We need more of a place where we can just place the documents or important information right there, where we can just bring it up right there without having to filter through all the other things. I think we should have a newsletter of positivity that talks about the issues on the planet, to be transparent with them, and not have that filtered by the leadership. The leadership should have nothing to do with it. Meaning that if I'm elected chairman, I only want to support the newsletter. I don't want anything to do with it because I'm not on the floor. And that means that the people on the floor are running this. I'll support whatever. I don't care if it's headlines say Chuck McCoy sucks. He was terrible. That's, you got to support that, because that keeps you got to keep something grounded. You got to be grounded. You can't cut off what people could say about the job you're doing. And I think that currently some of that goes on. I hear some of the things I blocked on Facebook. So when you have things like that, where union shot, we should be able to speak freely, as long as it's not threatening, intimidating, or whatever. Something zero tolerance is, but we should be able to speak freely. And anybody in leadership who does not want to hear what anybody else thinks or doesn't respect their thoughts, that's kind of crazy being a leadership position.
And this is off your record question. This is somebody that's had to action. Is it possible that we can make the platform where we have our own town halls, and have it where we can go online town halls where the people can just come watch online? Because some people can't make it to the union meetings like they used to. So could we do an alternative, like a talk, like a town? We get to discuss some of the same things.
It's funny that he said that. I don't see why we do
first one is there.
Yeah, because I'm just all about. I have 3 years left. I don't want to do more than 3 years. I want to be a part of a transition for the young, or the younger in seniority. I don't mean it like the younger folk, meaning 10, 15 years and under. You guys are the majority, and I want to be a transition. I want to be a person who helps transition you all into the leadership of running the planet. Really, that's exactly what it's going to be. And I don't think we've done a good job of that at all. There's a huge disconnect between the higher seniority and the lower seniority. Higher seniority people really want to embrace the lower seniority, but it doesn't feel like it to the lower seniority. The lower seniority feels like that they don't want to embrace it at all. But the higher seniority says the lower seniority don't want to listen to anything. So that's a huge disconnect that we have to make. And I think by doing these town halls and talking to each other and being honest and willing to hear each other can only make things better. So,
there we go.
I was talking to young folk about the attendance policy, for example. It came to me a couple of weeks ago because I was one of the highly critical ones to sign out. And when you sign out, I'm down there. There's 5 of us down here. We got 150 years security, 0 sign outs, all of the stuff. I mean, as a rep, when people are signing out, I'm giving them advice. And I'm not saying some things that, were really, really, I don't want to put a urgency in whatever. We've had some conversations with some people on maybe signing out or different things like that, or not coming to work, of course. And it dawned on me that attendance policy that we have for the new people. The new people, it's atrocious. And we didn't have to go through that when we started. And me explaining that to some of the lower seniority people, really giving them a little comfort and knowing that we were not hurting like that. We didn't get the 30 years through this policy right here. We got 30 years through some much better attendance policies than the current in 2008, maybe on up to down. It's me really bad attendance policy. And I'm not beating up Ford Motor Company as far as because in their lines or whatever, it was something that they had to do. But it's definitely went from an okay tennis policy to what it is now, which is really, really difficult.
It's not practical.
I mean, people make it happen, but nothing changes unless the people get together and say, hey, here's what we demand. Be the highest rule about
I like, bro.
if you're not involved and they don't hear you or they're hearing third hand, then you're gonna get decisions that reflect on stuff.
Like, and that's what we need. You know what I'm saying? Clear answers. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, it show your leadership because you have been down there. You heard what the people have said. You know what I'm saying? So when you come up there, you know what to do to be able to prevent these things. And another issue, the youth feels a disconnect is the pensions. So how can you speak to the youth that's coming up that didn't get the pensions to the, legacy boys that do got it, where we can mend that water, because it's like the elephant in the room, you see somebody low seniority, somebody high seniority and got one, they feel like, well, why are they better than me? And it's like, that's not the case, and I heard the stories of what happened dealing with the, '08 crash and, the bubble and whatnot and how we had to get the jobs back. But Ford and all the big three been making profits and over fence since then. They paid back for the loans and everything. And I know Ford didn't take one, but at the same time, we made it through that crisis and not only relevant. So how can you speak to that dealing with, that disconnect with that pension water?
I think I heard something about Sean Payne just bringing that up. There's a contract coming up this year. I hope he's successful with it. I'm not sure of, all the details with it, but so I do have a pension. With 30 years I was there at where the pensions were there. But it's quite a few of us who don't, but it's the majority don't, of course, that don't have it's a pretty decent match program, of course, not a pension, but it is a pretty decent program if utilized right. But a lot of people don't do that. They work 30 years and then that's all they have. So it's kind of cool to have a pension when you look at if you made a lot of mistakes financially growing up in the facility, and you're at 30 whatever years, you have to leave, and to have a pension coming, it does give you a lot better financial security than to have to put all of your money up and be more responsible. But my belief is that I can argue for pensions all day long, all day, but I have a pension. If I didn't have a pension, I would definitely want somebody who didn't have a pension. I'm like, hell for me. I mean, I can argue it through the roof, but God, the hunger of someone that doesn't have the things, it's just, to me, it's always that's, that over the top thing. So I think that there should be a committee on anything that the membership wants to see in play. So just say if we had a pie and it was split in 8 ways, and they were all subtitled, whatever, on payroll, safety, or whatever it may be. for gains. If the membership by majority is saying, hey, we need childcare, we need something done with that attendance policy, we need this, we need that, organized to our leadership, those are the things that they push for. Those are the things that they make happen. So we have to get more involved from the floor.
Yeah, that is being
More involved from
it take us to change it and make it better for us.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is what real leadership is, to educate us on what to do and make it better for us.
Yeah, we're only support. Outside the contract, I mean, of course, you got to uphold the contract. That goes without even saying. But even in addition to that, we should be a service, 100% service. We're not a service. We react too much. We're constantly chasing things. I don't think we utilize the resources correctly in the committee role. Right now, there's over 30 people in the union office to be able to serve the membership. Maybe the way they're allocated or the different ways or different assignments could be a little bit. And, it's not so much a criticism, but I'm up on the floor and I'm feeling it. So if you think you're doing something and you're not really in it, you can really get a false sense of what's going on. And I think that's what's going on, from the disconnect from the floor to the actual union, because I'm not in there now, but the guys, they work, majority of them work hard. But it's like a hamster wheel. You need a plan. It's there, the same thing over and over and over again. So we got to do something different.
Yeah. And then another one, the platform was talking about this, we get you elected, and in my heart, I feel like you're the people champ, for real. I'm Moorish. You give me like a Kobe Young vibe, feeling with how you was able to vote, galvanize the people because you're authentic, raw, but also you're intelligent, you be able to get the message out. People listen to you because of it, such, you dynamite, you lightning's gonna blow. That's what it is. But speaking of blowing, a lot of people want to know, like, when you get elected, how do you know you're not going to disappear like the other people that did before? Like we want to know, like, how we know?
I'm a competitor. So I don't think people who know me know I'm a competitor. It's straight up fight. So being honest, I was kind of bored. Being in an appointed job, you really don't get my maximum. You can't. It's like this is a job right here that is so many issues and so many things. I don't know how somebody could disappear. That's like running from something. So I ain't never ran from nothing ever. So I'm looking forward to it's just the challenge is so big from a standpoint of that's a motivating thing for women in leadership of my life. This is a big challenge, but I understand what it takes, and I'm eager to be able to get that opportunity. But disappear, there's action going on. I like to get action. I like action. But transitioning people and trying to help change the culture, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, but there's no way that I could be successful without help from the membership. The membership will only help make this place the place where you want it from and work. Membership, and it's the people between the lines, right? If you listen to me, I would be like, can you get a coffee maker over there? Because I was in a cubicle just recently, or some things that really don't relate to what people are doing in between the lines, right? That's what we need to concentrate. People that's building these trucks between the lines. That's no disrespect to everybody else who contribute to this wonderful product, right? And them jobs are tough. And people deserve a better service, better response times, just better food quality, better everything, while we're spending probably 60% of our lives here away from our families. And I want that's a huge challenge to make this a better workplace. The shifts that I've been on over the years has been pretty laid back, at least from the things that I've heard. I'm sure some people to be like, you guys stuck like everybody else and all of that, but I think it was pretty quiet on high from anything.
Yeah, but for what my sentiment from what I heard from the streets, and people, I just said that, I got work with Chuck. They talk so highly of me at different plants. I didn't know you knew people in Michigan. I didn't know you was over there in Map. So there's a lot of stuff that you did through your 30-year tenure being here for a motor company and is doing good work, doing good business. You know what I'm saying? And on top of the people you have made and met, you made family. Like you said, 60%. We family. We just ain't blood, but we blood brothers still because we work together. We in the grind together.
Right.
So and that's where my respect comes in, because you get up and supply for your daughter and your family the same way I get up and do it for mine. So and that's where the respect come in. And that's what the people need. That's what we need in our leadership. And I think that turned the morale around into play tremendously, because once you see the people chant winning, you feel like you winning. When the people chant winning, I mean the people winning. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm happy you took this interview with us, and I'm happy you was able to talk to the people. Do you got anything else you want to get to talk to the people about as we close this out?
Was just that I will probably say that I'm going to be around campaigning in the next 30, 40 days as much as I can. I want to talk to each and every individual. Sometimes it's hard when you're on the job, but I don't mind talking to anybody as long as it takes for you to understand how important it is to at least get out there and vote. Of course, I would like for people to support me, but not because I'm cool or your friend or anything, but because you think that I can get out here and do the job. We have a plan already in place. I know what I'm doing. I'm a fighter. I'm a person that thinks ahead, and I understand how to push a staff out there to be of service and to be on the same page. If I get respect from day one, no, it's no learning curve in the job for me. I've been around this stuff all the time. I've been in leadership most of my adult life, even as a child, selected by other people. I'm a selfless person, and I want to get up and work for you. I'm going to get out here and transition you all into, these are wonderful, wonderful jobs. And I want you guys to see the same vision that I see out of my lens about Ford Motor Company in the union. It's been wonderful for me. And I want you guys to have that same prescription. I want to work hard to make sure that my prescription that I see when you put your glasses on would be the same. So,
I love that. And on top of it, I'm so happy that you come out and be able to give your voice, your opinion. Say people get to see your heart. And on top of it, say this is the beginning, y'all. All right, this is the people movement. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, what Chuck represents is not just himself, but us. He has 30 years of experience, 20 years in the union. I don't see no other person that can do the job and be able to restore the floor. This newsletter he got out and this platform he built it, it's not just for him, it's for us. And I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing, brother. All right, thanks for coming out to the podcast and share this, gentleman. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're gonna do some more, all right, because I love getting active with the community. You know what I'm saying? Chuck, he front line with it, no front line with it. You know what I'm saying? And since we gonna be like that, you know what I'm saying, we taking our clients back, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna do it one day at a time. All right, we see you on the other side. Thank y'all for joining in. And we see y'all at the election too. All right, we're gonna win. All right. We out.